Hi everyone, Fiona. Me, I really can't. I don't want to be that. Okay, maybe the other one. So, this actually was all cut out using two dies, three dies. So we have one die, but you do it all at once, which is the nice thing about it. So you have one die that cuts out this oval, second die that then cuts out the thin border, and then the third die you place on so that all together cuts out all the flowers. So it sounds like a lot, but it's not. It's just one little set, which I have forgotten to bring with me. It's from Alt New, and I will post what it was that I used. So, and then we've got a piece of embossed. So I'll show you everything, which I'm hoping, against hope, that it's all still in here. Yep, so we've got my envelope. So this, and all these little flowers were cut out in one go. And then I just simply used two dies, which was to cut the oval and to cut the frame in white as well. So that's what those are. These are all the little flower and dot inserts from here. I have to admit, I did have to run it through my die cutting machine twice, once forward and then back again, just to make sure that it actually did have a really good cut and there wasn't bits left stuck. Because believe you me, I had to do it for a couple of people. Actually using a pair of scissors to cut through was a bit of a pain. So I'm going to put these to one, well, yeah, I am going to put them to one side. Hopefully I can find them all. If not, I'm going to have to make do with some spares that I've got. We had a piece of embossed white, which is going to go on the front. And then we had two other pieces of embossed. I've got a thick piece and a thin piece. And it's really up to you whether you want to put the thicker piece or the thinner piece on an envelope. And then similarly, inside the card. I thought this just finished the inside of the card really nicely. I'm going to try this again. Let's see if it lets me do it this time. No, it's just, the watch now is just taking me to you. I just don't understand that. How silly is that? Maybe if I come out and try again. You never know. Because it's very frustrating not knowing whether or not this is actually working. And I like to be able to watch it so that I can see, there it is. There we go. Right, so that's what I can see it, which is good. And I can see where everything is on this, because I hate to be holding it all up there and you can't see anything. So that was the kit that everybody got. And I also took some of my stamping blends. So we used this and all the flowers and the stamping blends to colour them. So I'm going to do exactly the same today. So I just need to grab those flowers. So I've got two large flowers, and then these funny little shaped ones are flowers too. So we have 1, 2, 3, she says, trying to pick it up. You know what, I should use my, take your picture and use the putty end of it, because I think that would make it much easier. And use the pokey end to split it all up to find the bits that I want. There we go. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, so those are all those bits. And then, as I said, it's a question then of simply colouring them. So the two larger ones, I actually used, I did a tone on tone effect. So this is, what was I going to say, peach, but it's not, I don't think it's, oh, actually no, I did take the peach pie, but this is not, this is pink. My mind has gone. So I'm just going to colour the centres of these. I don't think I need, I'm just going to use the lighter colour. I'm just going to sort of, I think this will be quite bright as it is. Just do that. This will fade. At the moment it looks kind of in your face. So that's those. These four were done in Berry Burst. And I just need to make sure I've got my Berry Burst and not my Melon Mambo here. That's Melon Mambo, so that'll go to one side, and that's Melon Mambo, so that'll go to the other side. And I'm going to start off simply with the light side first. And I'm just going to just colour them. The alcohol markers will simply just soak into the cardstock and colour them for you. I mean, obviously, if you're, if you're using a really dark colour, you are not necessarily going to get the colour that you want. But using this light, pretty, I want to say pretty in pink, but I don't, it will just take the colour really easily. So that's 4. Someone suggested you could simply just take these and just sort of put them face down on your ink pad, which you can do, but then good luck to you to try and get the things off the ink pad, because they're so small you're going to end up with ink everywhere. So if you've got some alcohol markers, they are like the best thing possible for this sort of thing. So that's those. So those are the flowers. Then we have the leaves. So we've got all these leaves. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh yeah, there's quite a few of them. 8. So there's 8 leaves. And I am going to use 2 different colours. I'm going to use one colour on some and another colour on another. I think this was Mossy Meadow and Old Olive. But today I've got Old Olive and Lemon Lime Twist. So I'm going to do, so these two, these two and, what was it, this, it doesn't really matter. This one, because they're kind of like the same leaves. I'm going to do these the same colour, and then those ones are going to be the same colour. So I'm just going to use Old Olive, and then again I'm just going to use the light one for these. You can go for the dark if you want to, but I think because this is such a small, quite delicate image that you're putting together, that just normal, the light Old Olive would work. So if you've got a light green, and then maybe use the darker green or a completely different green for the other set of leaves. So it doesn't take very long to do, especially when I don't have to share my markers with anybody here. It took a bit longer at the Cardandacuppa because everybody had to share the markers, because I only have one set of each, and there was 12 people, so that kind of made it fun. I did actually take my just normal markers, just my water, just ink markers rather than alcohol markers, and they actually work just as well. So if you don't have the alcohol markers, but you just have the normal coloured markers, you can use them. So I'm hoping that this will come out as a slightly different green. We shall wait and see. And then once everything's coloured, it's really just a question. Well, it doesn't look quite, doesn't seem to be that much of a difference. I'm hoping there will be in a minute when things dry. They always tend to dry a bit lighter. And of course I've got marker all over my grid paper, but hey, there you go. And then the centres of the flowers, I actually used the little dots that popped out of here. I wasn't even going to attempt to colour them and try and stick them back in those particular holes. I thought, no, I'm going to colour them and then I'm going to put them on the flowers. So these are all, so the centres of the flowers here are all ones that have come out of those holes. And this is where I need to grab them all again. Maybe I should just get that again. And there's different sizes. So we've got like one really large one, and then two slightly smaller ones, and then lots of little ones. Some very teeny weeny. That. You kind of have to be careful that they don't escape. And those I'm going to use the dark Daffodil Delight to colour those, so that they are sort of a yellow colour. Some of them is just like you just end up dabbing them. Ooh. That's gone, that colour has gone right through the paper, the cardstock. But you do need to make a note of a mental note of which side is which. So if you look at this one, you see it has gone through, but it's not quite the same colour. Whereas these, it will have gone, that's the reverse side. That's the actual side. So I'm actually going to glue these to the flowers now, just so that I don't lose them, because that will be a problem. So it's just going to be a question of a little dab of glue. Pick that up, make sure I've got the right side to put on there. I'm not worried about the glue because that will dry clear. This one is going to have a slightly smaller one, like so. And then these are going to have different sizes too. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll see how I get on with these. I might find out that I don't have enough. Actually, I think I do. I can see 2 more that are sitting over on my light. So I'm just going to put these on. As I said, trying to make sure that they are the right way up. You'll find that they're a little bit concave, so the back pushes towards the front. That's how you know which way you're going. Right, that's that one. That can go on there. I think I put that the wrong way up, but hey, do as I say, not as I do. At the end of the day, I don't think it really matters, except for when you come to put some clear stuff on the top, and that means then that it will be going down rather than up. Right, that needs to have a bit of yellow on it. As I said, it is literally, you just dab it with with the alcohol marker, and then right, so I'm just going to set those to one side for the time being. Let them dry, let the alcohol sort of go into the actual cardstock, and we're going to start assembly of this. So I have my petal pink, remembered it, petal pink piece, and I'm going to glue that to the piece, the oval of white. That will then give us a background to add and glue the flowers on, so that will make your life a bit simpler. So you want to, you don't want to be too generous, in that you don't want to put lots of glue in lots of spots, but at the same time you do want to try and get most of these middle pieces, or the larger pieces, fixed down, just so that they lie flat. And you'll see why in a minute. It can be a bit impossible to do it, but hey. So this is going to go down flat onto here. So I've glued that. That flower's very attached to me. Make sure I haven't got any others there. I don't want to stick them on the inside of these two. So match up the edges, and they should match up perfectly because you've used exactly the same die to cut both. It's just that at one of them you've also cut out all those flowers. So that's that. So leave that to dry for a second. And then what I did was, on my card I used some Nouveau crystal drops, and I put those in the holes. I wanted to add a bit of sort of bling and sparkle without adding too much height and stuff. If you don't make sure that all of this is glued down properly, you will sadly find that it will leak underneath and just travel under your cardstock. And then you won't have they'll still be filled in, but they'll just be flat rather than a slight dome. Have I got all of those? I think I have. So that was those. And then you're also going to do the same thing to the two larger pieces, so to the petal pink ones. So you're going to add a drop on here just to create a dome. It will dry and just create a dome and stay on there. So you don't need to go mad, though I might have overdone it with that one. So if you look from the top, hopefully you can see that there is like a pearly blob on it. So if I hold it that way, and that one as well. So we're going to leave those to dry, as I said, for a bit longer. And then these ones, because they don't have any of that Nouveau on it, you can just start sticking them in. Now it's up to you on whether you want to just stick them in flat, or if you want to add a little bit of dimension to them by having them so that the flowers you can pop up, and also the leaves. So this leaf is, it can be popped up. This one can be as well, but I think I had left that one just like that. All these can be popped up, and you do that by simply gluing the bottom sort of bit of the branch. But then I would, before you do that, I would figure out where the particular bit goes, because there's nothing worse than putting a bit of glue on and then spending 20 minutes figuring out which one it goes into. So that can just go in there like that. Similarly, I think just doing these ones will be the easiest first. So that one goes in there. So just a little blob of glue on the end. Touch that into the gap. Make sure it's well and truly in. And then this one goes here, I think. Let's just double check. Some of them can be a bit misleading. You think you've got it and it's like, oh, I haven't. That's going in there. This one's got 3 leaves, so it's that one. Some of them are obvious and some of them are not so. And move this around so you can get to the bit where you want to add it. Don't try like leaning over being placing things over, because that's when boo-boos will happen. So this one goes in there. So that's going in there. I'm trying to hurry up with doing this because I know it's 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, but hey, if I don't do it now, I'll never get it done. So it's kind of best intentions to do it. Especially since tomorrow's going to be even hotter. And although I have the benefit of the basement, which is quite nice, that doesn't go there. That one goes there. See what I mean by making sure you know where it goes. That one goes in that spot. Like that. That one. Now I'm going to do the flowers last. Reason being, I want to give this time to dry, and I also want to give the domes on here time to dry. So I've managed to obviously stick my hand on that, or it's gone astray and gone under the pink cardstock, because it's sort of flattened out and disappeared to a certain degree. So those are those bits. I'm just going to leave that for the time being. As I said, I will come back to these to finish it off. Just put these out the way because this is the one that's going to take the longest. This one is doing quite well already because you can see that it's gone with going clear, and that's once it's gone clear, you know it's pretty much dry, or certainly, but I wouldn't advise getting hold of it and trying to sort of squeeze it, because it will flatten then. So the large piece of embossed white is going to be glued to the card front, and obviously you don't have to use the colours that I've used. Those were just the ones that I had to hand when I was designing the card, and the ones that I took with me to Cardandacuppa. If you don't have those colours, then use what you have. Because the pink is so pale, you are able to colour the cardstock pieces quite easily. So that's for the outside. This time I'm going to use the thinner piece for the inside. I didn't put a sentiment on my original card Did I? No, I didn't. I'm not sure that I'm going to put one on this one. I might do. So this amazingly just fits on. Exactly the right size. So that's that. Envelope. That piece is not long enough to go down the bottom. So it's just going to go down the side. Like so. So I keep getting notifications from Facebook that things are being deleted. So if there was something that you wanted to watch from a month ago, I'm really sorry that Facebook will have deleted it. It is actually, you will actually be able to find it on YouTube. So you'll be able to find it on the Creating with Fiona YouTube channel. But Facebook is no longer keeping videos for more than a month. I think they've also started going back and deleting ones that have been there for a while, which is a bit of a pain, but you know, it's what it is, sadly. I'm sure if lots of us complained that maybe they would do something about it, but probably not. Right, okay, so done my inside of my card, I've done my emboss piece on the front, done my emboss piece on the envelope, which looks like it's had something cold drink sitting on it, but that was not me. Now, this piece is to be glued on. You can just simply glue it direct on, which I think that's what I'm going to do, because with the flowers up, it will already be, the depth of it will be starting to head towards a large card for postage. So you just need to try and make sure that your thing is in the middle. Now if you want to have a sentiment going across the bottom, then you can push this up closer to the top, but I'm not going to again, so that's going to be like that. Now you can either add, oops, she says it's managed to get this completely out of shape, so maybe I won't use it. So you can either add the pink around the edge, or you can add the white around the edge. I used the white because I just thought it finished it off nicely and kind of gave a picture frame effect, oval picture frame. And you do, again, you need to add the glue, but don't go too mad with it. Little dots all the way round is fine. They don't have to cover 100% of the thing. Just so long as you have them spaced out, there'll be something to hold it. I've just noticed everything on my desk has just gone completely skew with. But hey, it's live. Let's try and get this straight. I think that's also stuck to that. Oh dear, I'm having one of those. So then you want to add the frame so that it fits perfectly, or as close, push it as close as you can to the frame, the oval. In the middle, oh dear, I'm gonna have to tidy that up. You know what I'm gonna do is I'm going to carefully, without losing these flowers, turn this over like that. Okay, so we're almost done on this. What we have left to do is to put the flowers back in place. So we have our 4, it is 4 berry burst, and then we have our 2, which are the original petal pink. It's, if you want to sort of give them some dimension, I just tended to push them into the palm of my hand and to ease up the petals. Now that's the one that goes in there. So I'm just going to put a little blob of glue in the middle there. Again, if you just want to have them flat, there is absolutely nothing to say that you can't do that. It's really up to you. Just need to make sure that that goes flat on there. The centre that is, not the rest of it. So that's going to go on there. Like that. Sometimes it's better just to fix the centre and then go back later and lift the pieces up. Oh, okay, so now I've lost all the other bits. That's good. I just got them stuck to my arm or something. That's the second one. Put that in there. Try to second guess which way they go. I think that goes that way. So again, I'm just going to push down in the middle, like so. And then I'm going to try and find the other pieces, which seem to have gone walkabouts. Can anyone see them on my desk? Because I can't. So I'm going to have to find them. So this one again, you want to do similar. You want to just stick it in the centre, put this on. Obviously don't press down in the middle for that piece, though it has the that bobble of Nuvo. Try and match up here. So that's that. And then this one, again, you need a piece, just a blob of glue. Oops. And that's where I need to work out. Oh, look, there they are. How strange is that? Did you see them and not tell me? So that one needs to go in there. And that one needs to go in there. So I will take a photo of this and post it as well, so that you can see what the finished bit looks like. 'Cause I don't think I'm going to be able to pop all these up today. Nope. It's like trying to find which way round to match up your punch to your stamp. Bit frustrating, but hey, right, that's the right way. So again, I'm just going to push it down in the centre there. But you can see the effect with the leaves. And in fact, that one's not. I would have thought that one would be done by now, but you can just flick them up. But I do need to leave them to dry a bit more. So that was the first card. So that was our first Cardandacuppa card. So that one is done with. And then the second one was the one that we did this past Wednesday, which was this card. Looks like that. And the kit there, again, it was a white base card with an envelope. So everybody had an envelope, white base card, a panel of white, a panel of double-sided paper, which you can choose which side, they could choose which side that they wanted to use. And then they also had 10 1.5-inch circles that I had punched out of paper that went with this pack, and there were 2 of each design. It's just like, so we have 2 of those. We have 2 of those. And this is why I look at it and think, oh, it's not quite right. 2 of those. We have, and you can tell from the back, the reverse side as well, whether or not they're the same ones. So that one's not the same as that, and nor is that. So we've got that one, and we have these 2. So we've 10 in total. Don't know why I've got that one, but hey. A strip of white of patterned paper, 3 embellishments, and then also a square, 1-inch square of black cardstock. It doesn't have to be black, it could be any colour that you want. It just make it out of scrap. Don't make it out of your best cardstock. Okay, so that was the kit. I'm going to first of all glue this direct to the card front, because that's easy. Makes it nice and easy. And I'm going to stick to that, the same side that I used for the sample card. I think everybody enjoyed this one because it was just that bit different, but also so easy to do. Because all you need is a punch, a trimmer to cut a square, and some double-sided paper. Now this piece, I originally cut it so that there was only a small border going around, but if you look at this one, the border's slightly wider. So the paper is 10 by 14.4. This will be 9.5 by 13.9, and then this one will be 9 by 13.4. I left it at the wider size so that people can make a decision themselves as to what they wanted to do. But I am going to make this smaller, so I just need to take my trimmer and cut it down by 0.5 centimetre, top and bottom. Top and bottom, side and top. So 2 sides that are at 90 degrees to each other. And that will then just give us a slightly larger border. As you can see, like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your piece of card that is the 1-inch square. You're going to place it in the centre of one of your circles, and then you're simply going to use this as a guide to fold up the edges of the circle, like so. Where have I put my bone folder? Not there, there it is. So you want to do that, just do one at a time. So that when you're done, you will have a circle that has 4, well, basically it's been turned into a square, and there are 4 bits that are basically, you'll see the other side, and you need to do that with all 10. I think that one's already done, so I'm not going to do that one again. Should have done all of these apart from that one, but hey. You are in fact only going to need 8, but I gave people 10 so that they had a choice to do something different if they wanted to. They didn't actually have to follow what I had done completely. So that's that one. What's that? This will be my 4th. On the other side of that green. I think I'm going to have that as the green, but I'm only going to do one of those because that can then go in the centre. As I said, you just need 8. That's 5. 6. Now one of them, and I'm going to use this one again, you want to be cutting it in half. So if you just get your scissors or your trimmer and just cut from one point to the other point across. Like so. So effectively you've only got a triangle. That's that, so I don't need those two, and then I'm going to use these two. Yeah. Okay. So the most difficult part is actually deciding the placement of each of these square circles turned into squares. What colour goes where, that sort of thing. And you know, choices and all that, and that I think was what took the longest making this card, because people couldn't make up their minds. So what I would suggest you do is take your piece of white, decide which one. Now I've got only one of these, so I'm going to make that my centre square. And I could put them straight, but I quite liked mine as a diamond shape. Now I'm going to, this time I place that one centrally and put a sentiment in the middle. This time I'm going to put it closer to the top. So that I can then put a sentiment down the bottom there. So that one, and then I'm going to follow that pattern. So I'm going to use this one here. Maybe it's my OCD. I don't really know. I don't think I really have OCD. Okay, so that's that. Then I'm going to put that one there. And that one there. That one there. That one there. Like so. And then these ones that have been cut in half will slot into that space. Like so. But you can move them all around. You could use these two pieces and not use some of those. As I said, it's really up to you. What I would suggest you do though is find the centre of this. And I do have a pencil, that's good. But I don't have a ruler. Oh. So I'm going to have to use, I was going to say the grid line. So what have we got here? I'm going to take that as my centre, and then that's 1 3/4, and that is 1 3/4. Okay, that works. So that's there. Make sure that's there. So that's there. This one is, let's see, does that work? 8. That goes to 9. That goes to 10. That goes to 7. Yeah. Oh. That's pretty good going, actually. I don't think I'll ever be able to do that again. And then, with something that, a bit like me, you don't have, like a ruler, I will use my bone folder. That's not going to work. What can I use? Piece of a cardstock. There you go. That should be straight. If I just join that and that together, draw a line. only needs to be very faint because you're going to have to erase these lines. Okay. So if you wanted this to be central, then you would put your centre square, which is that one, so that each of the 4 points lined up with the 4 lines, like so. But I don't want to do that. I want my pieces to be like this. I think I might leave a slight gap up there. But by having the pencil marks, it does mean that you can ensure that they are lined up. Maybe I will go talk up further. The reason I'm doing that is that I don't want to put a sentiment in the centre. I want to be able to put a sentiment down here. And then again, you're going to put those in, that one in there. That's the green, so that's going to go there. So I'm just placing diagonal things diagonally opposite like that. And then these ones will go in there and there. So all you then need to do is simply glue these. And you just put the glue on the bottom. Like that. Make sure your points are lined up with the lines on your piece of white. Move it because you then realise that actually you've put it just a little bit too low. Right, that's that there. Because if you don't line them up with this, you're going to find that it's all going to go start going off to the side, which is not what you want. You want it to be, well, I'll say perfect, but you want it to be straight so that it looks even from one side to the other. And if this is the only way to do it, then so be it. So make sure again your points lined up. This is lined up on your faint line that you've drawn on there. It's obviously not going to line up with the one going across, simply because you weren't trying to get this completely central with four sides being equal. You're simply trying to get it central on this centre line going down. And you can do this with all sorts. So that's that. I mean, you can turn your circles into squares, into triangles. So that's going in there. And these bits you do want to get kind of as close and butted up together as possible, but you don't want them overlapping. There's that one next. And then this is where I should have put the sentiment on first. But hey, if you find that they're not quite fitting, just turn it around 90 degrees and you might find that it actually then fits a bit better. Am I going the right way? Yes, because that one goes there. That's pink and that was pink, and then this is green and this is green. Yep. So I thought I was having a moment then to put the wrong ones in. So that's that. Again, turn it because it doesn't seem to quite fit that way. There we go. This one. Put that in. Does that fit? Kind of looks straight. That's fine. And then these last two pieces are going to go here. So that's going to go in that one. this one's going to go in that one. And the nice thing is this will lie flat. You can fold all these down if you're going to post it. I mean, so it will go as a normal sized card, despite the fact that it's got all these bits that poke up. Right, that's that. And then you have to, obviously, I obviously went off the line somewhat because that side and that side are not equal. They've kind of veered slightly. So, but I'm okay with that. I'm not going to worry about it. I mean, you could in the end just cut around it completely if you wanted to, but I'm not going to. What I am going to do though is remember to now erase those pencil lines, because if I don't, oops, sorry, I just knocked my camera with my glasses. Take those off. Like so. Obviously what's underneath you can't see anyway, so that's not a problem. Take any glue off that's sort of come out. Where's my glue eraser? There it is. If you've got glue that's squidged out, then now's the time to remove it. Can't believe that that has gone. I mean, it could also be my cutting, which probably is not knowing that. So that's going to go on there. As I said, I'm going to add a sentiment along here. A long one, so that it sort of fits there. I don't really have, let's see, will that fit? What's that one say? Let's celebrate. I think that will fit on there. Like there. So I will have to flatten those two bottom pieces down so that I can stamp properly. I need to get the block. Let's try and get this on there straight. Like that. Find my berry burst, which is one of the colours that's in the paper. Berry burst ink. You could do it in black if you wanted to, or any other colour that you have that works with the paper. And then this is just going to go straight on here. Like so. That's going to get glued on there. Like that. Or you could add it, I mean, this one was glued direct, because as I said, I wanted to make sure that it would fit in as a standard size card. You can put dimensionals on and raise it up if you want to, but I think I'm just going to keep mine pretty flat. So that's going to go like so. And then everybody had a strip of this paper as well, so that can go on the inside of the card. Oh, excuse me. I've got one of those horrible tickly coughs. No idea where it's appeared from. But anyway. So that's going to go inside the card. This excess off, like so. So that's the card, that's the inside of the card, that's the envelope. I do have some circles left, so you could use those to decorate. up to you. I think I might do that, in fact. No, I'm going to use that side. I mean, you could also like put it on here like a seal, glue one side and put some sticky double-sided tape, but just don't take the backing off, and make a seal or create a seal with it. So that would work as well. Just another way to decorate and use up all the bits in the kit. And that's that. And talking about bits in the kit, I still have the 3 embellishments that came in the kit, so I'm going to use those. So I've got a large one and 2 smaller ones, so I think I'm going to put the larger one in the middle, and then the 2 smaller ones can go either side of the Let's Celebrate, or I could do that. It's going to be like that. And I could put one there and one there, but I don't think so. I'm just going to put them either side of the Let's Celebrate. Oops. One there. And that one there. I don't need that. So that's my second card from of this month's Card and a Cuppa. So today was a bit of a twofer, which is always good. So that was the one that I've just made. That was the one from the other day. That was my sample. What's that? This is my, no, that's my sample, my card from today. Looks like things are drying there, so I'm just going to quickly attempt to lift up some of these flowers with my Take Your Pick tool. If you've got a pokey tool, then that will work equally as well. I'm just going to use my fingers to like sort of raise them up a bit, just to give them some added dimension. That one I think I might leave down, it's flat, so it's just the larger ones I'm going to lift up. I'm going to leave the little ones down, and then this one. That, like that. So there we go. So that's that one finished. With, no, that was the one, wasn't it? So that's the envelope for that with the, and yet again everything's gone skew-whiff, but hey. So those are the 2 cards from this month's Card and a Cuppa. Obviously I'll be back not next week but the week after with Card and a Cuppa for July. So July's the last 2 Card and a Cuppa before we take a break in August, so there'll be no Card and a Cuppas in August. I think we're all in just about dying to have a break from things. So there you go. So next week I'll be doing the Zoom, the chat, craft and chat. So if you can join us for that, that would be brilliant. If not, then don't worry. It will go up on YouTube. In fact, today I've just put up the YouTube video from last Monday. So that you can find on Creating with Fiona today. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing these, and it's given you some inspiration maybe to try these yourself. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.